Hey everybody, welcome to another video. We're going to go through some resist techniques, masking techniques. This is Watercolor Month, and so this is going to be some of my first videos that I upload for Watercolor Month. And I really want to make sure, because I do have a lot of mixed media people on my channel, and I want to make sure that you mixed media people know that just because it's Watercolor Month doesn't mean you all of a sudden have to get serious, and we're going to get into some serious artwork here. But we're also going to do some traditional watercolor, and I'm going to help you get started into that if that's something you're curious about. So I wanted to start out with some fun things we can do and some things that you can wrap your brain around right away and you don't have to be intimidated. So, and for some of you more traditional artists, you will find some things in this giveaway too. If you want to find out how to enter the giveaway, I have shown the prizes that you can win. So just click the link up there and it will tell you all about how to do it, that video there where I introduced the giveaway. And any videos I link to in this video, you just click that I and all the videos will come up. And that goes for any of my videos. Alright, so I have a few stencils that I've picked out already that I thought might be kind of fun because we're going to do some layering and lots of fun things. These two I made myself. I'm not sure if you can totally see that pattern because it's kind of, maybe you can. So that one I made myself. I am going to do a video. It is on my list of videos to do to show you how I make my own stencils. This one I did myself from a picture I took while I was in Maui. And then I've got this one here, which I want to do on a kind of an odd-sized canvas. And we are going to start with the snowflake today. The biggest question is, how do we get our watercolor that are in these pans into onto here? And I mean, we could brush it, but you know, we don't want to brush into here, and there is an easier way to do this. So I'm gonna show you that right now. By the way, this is my DIY watercolor palette that I made from Jane Davenport's Watercolors and from Prima Watercolors, and using magnets on the bottom of these, and it seems they're sticking. I might have to figure out what to do about that. Here is the watercolor set. This is mostly Daniel Smith watercolors, which are my favorite watercolors. And this is the set I normally use. I just put it in the tin. So let's get started with this. There's a few different ways you can do this. So we're going to start with making a spray. So it's very similar to any alcohol ink sprays that we made, except we're just using water and watercolor paint. So I have a few things here. I have my pans, which are going to be hard to get into a spray. They're not going to be that easy, so we're not even going to worry about that. I could, you know, dig up some paint with my brush and just gradually put it into a bottle, but that just doesn't make any sense. So instead, I'm going to show you a few other ways. So one way is to take Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus fine art watercolor. So I have many of these in different colors. These can be a little expensive, so there's going to be some cheaper options coming up. But this is just one. So these are very intense. These are meant to be watered down. There's not really any ratio here. We're just kind of going to see how it goes here. And now I need my water. Where did I put it? So I'm thinking kind of blues, purples, kind of some wintry colors. So let's see how that is. I don't need to make up a whole batch. Got some pink left over in the spray bottle. So I think I want it a little bit darker. So so I'm just going to add a little bit more. And this is really just going by feel. If you get these, I suggest you get them with the droppers right away, just because it's just a lot more convenient. So I'm not really keeping track. I just mostly go by looks. And this needs to be washed off. So put that lid on before we get all over. Let's see if this is a little bit darker. Yeah, I think that'll work. That's a little darker. So I just wanted a cool purple. So this color here is called Cobalt Violet. So that is a good color. And I just mixed up a little bit over a quarter of the bottle, maybe a third. Okay, and again, just went by feel. So just add a little bit, and I really didn't add that much. In all, I probably added under 10 drops. Another way we can do it is we can take our watercolor tubes. So I have a few options. None of these are very expensive. I would say that the Derwent and the Reeves are the cheapest. Now Reeves is a Winsor & Newton company, so they're very good quality. Derwent can be a little bit milky, so a little bit of a gouache feel to it. I found that these ones anyways. I'm not sure if that's every single one, but I got these kind of, I got these at Staples actually. I got a whole set at Staples for just pretty cheap. So if you, I just picked them up. I didn't really need them, but I just picked them up because they were pretty cheap. And so I'm going to do a turquoise here. I'm going to take my Cotman one here, and I'm going to squeeze some in there. I don't need very much. That's probably more than what I need, but you can kind of see what I've got in there. And I'm going to add some water to that. About the same amount. But not my water one. So you're going to have to shake this a little bit more. The Hydrus is already very runny liquid, so you don't have to worry about you know, getting that really mixed up. But the watercolor, it's not acrylic paint, so it should dilute a little bit. There we go. It's coming off there now. Okay, so let's just see what this one looks like. It's going to take a little bit, and I like that. So that's my turquoise from Winsor & Newton. And let's try the Reeves. Now the Reeves you can get for really cheap at Michael's, especially if you use a coupon. You're really not having to spend too much on this. And Reeves is a perfectly good brand of watercolors. I'm actually going to do another video where I use their water-soluble crayons, and we're going to paint with those. So be watching for that. And I suggest Reeves brand as a really good starting point for water, if you're new to watercolors and if you want to get into watercolors. And I'm going to be doing a video on what you can do to start with watercolors. So this is ultramarine blue, I believe. That's what I used. Yes, ultramarine blue. That looks pretty good. Takes a little bit because the spray bottle, oh, and now my spray bottle isn't working. Awesome. I hate that when that happens. Yeah, we're going to have a hard time getting that out. I'm just going to take my brush here. I kind of like that. Just wondering if I wanted a little bit more in there. I think I'm going to put a little bit more. And this is completely personal preference. I'm going to try to drop it right into the liquid. And mix that up again. So just when you're... These paints are all meant to not dissolve, but mix with water really easily, so it shouldn't take too long to mix them up, whereas acrylic will kind of, would take a little bit longer. Oh yeah, that's probably a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's a little bit darker. So just in case, I mean, I think most of you probably know, but just in case there are some of you that don't. So this is not acrylic paint. You would not paint, you would add water to this. You can paint straight from the tube and put it on a canvas, and then, but you would still need water. It's not going to work like acrylic paint. So it's very different from acrylic paint. Okay, and then I'm going to do cerulean, I think. So this cerulean, again, is by Winsor Newton, and you can just see, I don't love these ones because they're so skinny and they just twist, and this turquoise has actually ripped open. So I like the bigger tubes like this that are just a little bit wider. I'm just going to put that in there. So I have empty bottles, but I don't have sprayers that work because sprayers get clogged a lot. All right, so let's get these out of the way. And I'm going to have to shake this up because you can see I've got some. So it wouldn't hurt to wear gloves, but it's definitely not a safety issue at all because it's just water. So it's not like alcohol inks, where I got a lot of comments saying I should have been wearing gloves. And this is not going to spray. So I'm just going to go in here. And you can use a brush. Oh yeah, I like that. To kind of mix some of that up if you want, if you find that it needs it. So that's just a lighter cerulean blue, is a typical go-to color for sky. And then you kind of build on that, just FYI. All right. So I've got some sprays here that I've made, and we're just going to use these. So I've got my ultramarine, cerulean, turquoise, and cobalt violet. So some of these sprayers work, some don't, but we'll just see here. So this is just a canvas, I think it's from the dollar store actually. I haven't put any watercolor ground, so it's not a typical watercolor surface. And I am going to do another video where I use some watercolor grounds, and you'll see that in another upcoming video. So let's just see how this works here. Oh, that one's empty. And I just want to get some cerulean on there. So this one I might just have to drop. And that's kind of fun anyways. Be careful because those blobs of water might get underneath the stencil, so just be aware that that could happen. And then because this canvas, because it's not primed or anything and it's not a typical watercolor canvas, that color is just soaking right in, which is helpful. And then I'm just going to show you something else here. So I can just take this and put this on the back of something else. And just get a little kind of print from that, and I could probably make another print from it. I don't have anything handy. So even that's kind of cool for some things, for some collage paper or something. So you can see it just went underneath there. We could try picking that up, I guess, if you really want to. You don't need to. And then this must have been something that was on the canvas, on the stencil. Anyway, so that is just a quick, really cool way, and you have, you know, some wall decor for your house for winter. You can do that with flowers, you can do that with snowflakes, whatever. And that is just an easy way to get started and have some fun and all you have to do is buy a stencil. Oh, also I do want to mention that stencils, you can get them for very cheap. Dollar store, look at Dollar Store. There's lots of great stencils there. Of course, you can get stencils in any hobby store. They tend to be a little bit more expensive, but with a coupon. And of course, I'm going to show you in another video how you can make your own stencils. It might not be in this month. I'm going to see if I can include it in this month, but it might not be till March. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and join me over in part 2.